But maybe to let you know where I come from, I happen to hold a record of preaching the shortest sermon ever. Does that make you feel better? It's okay. I'm trying to get rid of the nerves. I'm trying to get rid of the nerves. Usually if someone sings in their language, they understand the song better, right? Right, I will sing this song in my language and you will join in your language. Kuna shango imbuya ikweno toibona ngecheza chino Yesu ewe Our sermon is going to come from the book of Mark, chapter 11. This is 1 to verse 10. There is this animal called a donkey. Anyone who doesn't know what a donkey is, you all know what a donkey is. A donkey is known as just to be a beast of burden, you know. When you think of a donkey, you think of an animal that is just used for pulling heavy things, for carrying heavy things, just known to be a beast of burden. And most farmers, where I come from, when a donkey is missing, they wouldn't give a fuss looking for a donkey as they would do when it's a cow that is missing. So in other ways, a cow is valued more than a donkey. People don't usually care about making sure that their donkeys are secure. They use their donkeys and they let them go. They spend the whole night in the wild. They don't care what happens. They go look for them when they want to use them again. They don't care much about donkeys. One interesting thing about a donkey is that it's very rare. It's very rare to see a donkey giving birth. It's very rare.
That's true.
Very few people have seen donkeys giving birth. The other thing about a donkey is that thing, when an animal is small, there's that thing that is always hanging here from the umbilical cord. A donkey doesn't have that when it's still small. That's one thing amazing about the donkey. The other thing that the donkey is known for is that a donkey is stubborn. Where I come from, the roads are not secure. So donkeys easily stray to the highways. And if you find a donkey in the highway, you will move. You won't move. That's a donkey for you. They are stubborn. Donkeys are stubborn. And the other thing about a donkey, I can imagine. I have a daughter there. I can imagine how she would feel if someone would come and say, I want to pay the water for your daughter using donkeys. Very few parents will accept that. Now that's a donkey. And then Jesus chooses to enter Jerusalem riding a donkey, not a horse. There are a few lessons that I learned from the verses in Mark chapter 11, verses 1 to 10. I'd like to share those lessons with you. Lesson number 1. The lesson that I learned is that Jesus sees into the future. Verse 2 says, Jesus says, go to the village ahead of you, and just as you enter it, you will find a colt tied there. Jesus already knows that there is a colt at the entrance of the village. Already knows the future. So Jesus knows into the future. Jesus sees into the future. Jesus knows the future. I know this time of the year in most churches is nomination time, right? Nominating workers for the coming year. And I'd like to assure you that the Jesus who knows into the future, if you are going to become a deacon next year, Jesus knew the day you were born that in 2024 you are going to be a deacon. Whatever office you are going to bear next year, or whatever office you are bearing now, Jesus knew that before. He knew that maybe even some of you before you became a Christian, Jesus knew that you were going to become what you are. Because he sees into the future. That's Jesus for you. Lesson 2. Jesus will never send you empty-handed.
Yes.
Verse 3 says, if anyone asks you, why are you doing this? Say the Lord will need it and will send it back here shortly. When Jesus sends the disciples, he doesn't send them empty-handed. He equips them with the words to say. So Jesus will never send you empty-handed. Jesus will never say to you, be the deacon, be the head elder, be the treasurer, be this and that, without equipping you. He will never send you empty-handed. He gives people words to say. He gave Moses the words to say to Pharaoh. That's Jesus for you. He gave the prophets words to say. If you read the books by the prophets, Jeremiah, Isaiah, Micah, the major and the minor prophets, they will hear them saying, and the Lord came to me and said, say to my people. Jesus will never send you, God will never send you and never give you what to say, always give you what to say. When you go out witnessing, He will give you what to say. He will equip you with what to say out there. Even when He sends you to be married, He gives you words to say. In your marriage, He's equipped you with words to say. At work, He's equipped you. He won't bless you with a job and not equip you for it. He will never send you empty-handed. Even at school, to our children, Jesus equips you with what to say. Even in social media, Jesus knew that there is going to be social media in this period. And He's equipped us with what to say in social media. And also in church, He has equipped us with what to say. Lesson 3, Jesus' prophecies will always come to pass. Verse 4, they went forth and found a colt outside the street, tied at a doorway. Just like as Jesus had said, it came to be. They found the colt tied at the doorway, just like Jesus had said. Jesus' prophecies come to pass. Jesus' words come to pass. Jesus prophesied that if we live by His statutes, we will be the head and not the tail. That's a prophecy. And that comes to pass if we live by His statutes. Jesus prophesied that if we live in a certain way, certain diseases or certain illnesses or certain sicknesses won't be upon us. Won't suffer the ailments of the Egyptians. That's the prophecy. And that comes to pass if we live according to what Jesus has instructed. Jesus instructed that He will be with us till the end of the time. That is when we're working for Him. Usually I hear people quoting this verse saying, Jesus, I said He will be with us till the end of the time. That verse comes at the end of Matthew 20, verse 18, where it says, go ye therefore. If you're not going ye therefore, He's not with you till the end of the time. That text comes with a condition. I'm with you till the end of the time if you are going ye therefore making disciples. That's the condition. And that will come to pass if we are laboring in His vineyard. And I'm tempted to say this. My elder here made a comment to the Sabbath school lesson when he said maybe we should be worried. Somebody, the presenter of the lesson, was asked us, do we have any testimonies of God being with us while we were waiting for Him? And there were none. Maybe because we are not waiting for Him, or maybe because we are afraid to testify. But it got me thinking and it got me scared at the same time. I remembered Jesus' words in Matthew, I think it's Matthew 9, verse 7, verse 8, where He says, the harvest is plenty, but the laborers are few. Pray therefore that the Lord of harvest send forth harvesters, or send forth laborers. The tricky word there is the word send forth. If you check in the original language, the word is ekbalo, which means throw. So if we don't go willingly, we will be thrown into the harvest. And if you are thrown, you land anyhow. You can land, break your neck, break a leg, break an arm. Some of us it will take us losing jobs for us to be in this way, thrown into the harvest. Some of us it will take us losing our spouses because maybe they keep us away from looking for the Lord, thrown into the harvest. Some of us it will take us losing our properties for us to labor for the Lord, thrown into the harvest. So if you don't go willingly, you risk being thrown into the harvest. It got me thinking, not part of the sermon, but it got me thinking. It got me thinking. Jesus also prophesied that he will come again. His prophecies come true. And definitely Jesus will come again. He will come again. Lesson 4, verse 5. Some people standing there asked, "What are you doing?" untying the cord. The fourth lesson is, idle people will always talk. They will always question. They will just standing there. Then they see them untying the cord. They say, "What are you doing?" Idle people will always talk. Check everywhere in life. Those who talk a lot in church are those without offices. Those with nothing to do are the ones who talk the most. What is good saying? Standing there. This year we will see. So is the deacon. We will see. So and so is the doctor. We will see. Criticizing because there is nothing. So if you do yourself a favor and find something to do in the Lord's vineyard, or else you'll be asking questions, constantly criticizing because you are idle. Idle people will always talk. Every life, even in our communities, wherever we come from, idle people are the ones who are always talking. In Africa, the women wake up in the morning, they start sweeping the yard, they even sweep the streets, sweep the street. Then they get idle, then they start standing on their edges, then they start talking about people because they've got nothing to do. Idle people. Lesson 6 or lesson 5, sorry. Lesson 5 is in verse 6. They asked them, "What are you doing?" untying the cord. And they answered, as Jesus had told them, and the people let them go. The lesson is, always respond with Jesus' words. When they criticize you, don't respond in your own words. Always respond with Jesus' words. You know what? Because if you respond using your words, they might escalate the situation. You might even lose your teeth because you responded using your words. But if you respond using Jesus' words, all will be well. Always respond using Jesus' words. There is strife in families because people are using their own words. There is no peace in communities because people address conflict using their own words. There are divisions and factions in our churches because of people's words. Because the words that are spoken in churches, the words that are exchanged in church board meetings are not Jesus' words, but people's words. Always respond using Jesus' words. There is no peace in the world because people use their own words. I remember in history we learned of a lady called Marie Antoinette. She was the queen of France back then, married to King Louis XVI. When there was a shortage of bread in the country, the women marched into Versailles, the capital at that time. They wanted just to tell the queen that we are suffering, there is no bread. And then when the queen got the message that people are complaining, they are saying there is no bread, she said, "Why don't they eat cake?" Those words alone led to the falling of the kingdom. The women got angry. They besieged the guards and killed them. They took the king captive because of those words. So make sure you always answer using Jesus' words. Because your own words can bend the whole nation down. The world will be a better place and families will be united if the words that were spoken were Jesus' words. Just examples of God's words that can make the world a better place. Proverbs 16 verse 24. Kind words are like honey, sweet to the soul. Proverbs 15 verse 11. Like golden apple set in silver is a word spoken in time, in the right time. You know, at times the words can be right, but the timing can be wrong. And that can cause strife. Proverbs 15 verse 23, Proverbs 13 verse 2, they speak about the words. A soft answer turneth away strife, turneth away anger. So always respond using Jesus' words. The next lesson. Verse 7. When they brought the colt to Jesus and threw their cloaks over it, he sat on it. Jesus has control over his creatures. If you grew up in a farming sector, or you grew up in rural areas like the countryside like I did, you would know very well that you just don't take a donkey that has never been ridden upon, that has never been set upon, and you just sit on it and there's no incident. If you want to be hurt, just take a donkey that has not been tamed and try to ride on it. You'll end up with bruises. That's the better part. But Jesus takes this donkey. No one has ever sat upon it. He sits on it and there is no incident. Why? Because he is Jesus. Amen. He has control over his creatures. Is your wife Jesus' creature? Is he giving you problems? Take it to Jesus. Is your husband God's creature? Are your kids God's creatures? If they are giving you issues, if you have a problem with them, take them to Jesus. Because Jesus has control over his creatures. And he's got the power to tame that is very wild. Those that you think are beyond redemption, Jesus has the power and the capacity to redeem. Because he's got control over his creatures. There is that person in church who's always giving you headaches, who's always troubling you, troublesome in the church. Is that person God's creature? Take them to Jesus. Jesus will tame you. The problem is, most of us want to tame other human beings. You will never succeed. You will never succeed. You marry that person already 32 teeth, 32 or 34 sets of teeth. They will alter when you met them. You can't tame them, you can't change them. Just take them to Jesus. If you try, or if you give yourself time and say, I want to tame so and so, you'll have a heart attack. You'll be stressed to the limit. But if you take them to Jesus, you will do his part. Jesus has control over his creatures. Last lesson. Many people spread their cloaks on the road, while others spread branches they had cut in the field. Those who went ahead and those who followed shouted, Hosanna, blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. People are spreading special, precious, expensive garments on the streets. And who was walking on the garments? It wasn't Jesus, but it was the donkey. Stepping on precious garments. Why? Because Jesus was using it. The lesson is there are benefits in being used by Jesus. You will walk on precious garments because you allowed Jesus to use you. A joke is told about two donkeys in the plains of Jerusalem. They are busy there, they are browsing, they are talking. Then the other donkey says, I don't understand humans. Yesterday, I entered Jerusalem and everyone was saluting me. They were spreading garments, they were shouting, Hosanna, Hosanna. And today, when I went back, I couldn't even enter the gates. They chased me. And the other donkey responds, that is not Jesus, my friend. You are allowed into Jerusalem that other day. You walked on garments because Jesus was on you. If you allow Jesus to use you, you can easily walk even into number 10 down the street because Jesus is using you. Amen. If Jesus is using you, you will converse with certain figures that people find impossible. Maybe that it was going to be impossible if Jesus were not using you. There are benefits in being used by Jesus. I'm sure of you, if given time, you testify of the benefits that you've reaped because Jesus was using you. Absolutely. There are benefits in being used by Jesus. I'm trying to encourage us today that let us wait for Jesus. Amen. Let us allow God to use us because there are benefits in being used by Jesus. Amen. And also as we live our lives on a daily basis, let us try by all means to make sure that whatever word that comes out of our mouth is the word that Jesus also uttered. When conflicts arise, let us not utter our own words, but the words of Jesus. Amen. May the Lord bless them.